Hello, dear. How are you
Hi,
today?
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Can't believe another week has gone by.
You know, I know. Week number 5. I'm done counting days. I'm now counting weeks.
I know. I'm like, I don't even count that. I'm like, I don't even know. It's April. Mid-April. Oh my God, almost the end of April.
End of April. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So today we're going to talk about boundaries.
yes.
We're starting to hear a lot from friends and my clients about what they're experiencing at home, being at home. Um, and just because we were not accustomed to spending so many hours a day at home with our families and our loved ones, right? So it's like we're almost having to learn. It's almost like, when you go on vacation, or when we went on vacation with our parents, and at the beginning was really hard, and at the end of the vacation it was really hard, right? Like at the beginning it was hard because you were trying to adjust to being with everybody. At the end you were just sick and tired of everybody, right? Because you'd spend too much time with everybody. So I kind of feel like this is the same, right? Now we're like, oh my God, I still have to be in this house with everyone, right? Even though you love them, even though you care about them.
Totally. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna. I mean, I know I've snapped a couple times. Like it's bound to happen. I mean, we have, you have so many different personalities, and when that, especially for those that have kids on top of it, that extra hormones and all that other stuff may play a big part of it too. So yeah.
Absolutely. So creating boundaries is important. We talked about the power of saying no, and now talking about boundaries. Part of saying no is to have personal boundaries, right? And
Mm-hmm.
understanding that you can create but what are boundaries? Creating certain rules to live your life by, right? That's basically, to me, that's what it means when I talk about my boundaries, right? I have realized that some things don't work for me and some things do, and I hold myself accountable to that.
Yep.
So, and right now, creating boundaries is another aspect of boundaries is to be respectful of others and yourself, right?
Absolutely. I agree. Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like a boundary when we were growing up was if their bedroom door was closed, whether they were in there or not, the boundary was that you didn't go in,
Or at
right?
least knock,
So
right?
you have to knock, right? You have to be welcomed in. And that was like a boundary that I grew up with. Or I remember like my mom had this boundary, she still has it, that you can't just go look in her purse for something. Like that's her personal space. And even if she tells you, I mean, when we were kids, if she would say it's in my purse, that means go get my purse and I'll go in there and give it to you. That doesn't mean, you're welcome to like digging through my personal
Right,
space.
right.
Right? And so when I was a kid, like growing up, I just always remember boundaries means be respectful of someone's space, which means
Mm-hmm.
be respectful of yours.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like same here right now. If I have my office door closed, for the most part, nobody opens it. Now there are times that, I see either, Ashkan or my mom may peek in and I just have to go like this, but for the most part, if the door is closed, that means I'm doing a session or, recording or something.
Right.
And so it's almost like an automatic do not disturb, right? And that's the boundary. And not to say, hey, I don't want to see you or anything like that. It's just that, okay, something else is going on right now. So, yeah.
Exactly. So teaching kids about having personal boundaries is especially important, because if they learn to set boundaries for themselves, and then as the adults that are trying to teach them, if we respect the rules that they are setting, like this is my room, don't come in, fine, okay, not a problem. So unless I feel that you're not harming yourself or there's nothing dangerous in there, I can respect that, right?
Yeah.
Or
And it
this.
could be even for a certain period of time, like if there are kids, because there are kids that may want to do that for several hours, But it's like, even that could be, okay, well, that's a boundary of saying, okay, you can have that time for, let's say, half an hour or an hour, I don't know, depending on the age, of course, right? Where it's like, okay, sure, here's your boundary, and still following that, so that way they also learn to do the same back, because, right, they always learn after the parents.
Right.
So.
Right. And for adults, like right now we have this, shared space, which is our home, right? And sometimes there are several people professionally working from this space, right? Now, it doesn't matter how small or large your space is, right? So to understand and create these rules around boundaries of, resting, work time, workspace, even meal times, right?
Yeah, totally.
Hygiene times, to create these rules and boundaries that fit how you are living today. Because those boundaries that we may have had prior, they may not really be as relevant to the way that we're living today at this particular moment in time. Kind of on top of one another, trying to work, trying to do this. Like, I do counseling. Like, I have to be protective of my patients, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be behind a closed door with a sound system going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is a boundary.
Confidentiality. Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and again, it doesn't mean cutting people out. It doesn't mean saying, rejection or any of that. It's healthy boundaries with love.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. And so, yes, and today concludes Thursday. So it concludes this week's Daily Tips, and we'll be going live tomorrow. Yes. Also, if any of you have missed any daily tips, you are more than welcome to go to the YouTube channel. There's literally like a playlist that's for all of the daily tips and the lives, even for those that have missed it. So that way you can actually go and either, listen newly or re-listen to one that made a difference for you, and share with others. Because, right now, lots of people could benefit from having some positivity in their life. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So please feel free to share these tips and our videos with whoever you like.
Absolutely. Bye.
See you tomorrow on the live.